and blessings. Welcome to another episode of Real Life with Real Talk. You're here with Amala, Real Talk Tip,
Yarima Karama.
I'm Safia.
And today we're having a conversation about some current events. This particular one is resulting from a video posted on social media. It depicts a resource officer forcibly removing a female student from her classroom. She's seated. At the point of the video, she's not speaking, she's not doing anything that we can see. But you see the resource officer snatch her from her seat, body slam her, toss her across the room. And it has sparked a lot of controversy. We want to talk about it. So, initially, what were your first thoughts, Sophia, when you first saw that video?
I didn't watch it.
Oh, okay.
I
Heard
did
about
not
it though?
watch it. Yeah, I heard about it.
Okay.
I read some of the comments, and one of the comments that I did read was, he has no right to do that, but she should have left though. And I said, you know what? No, I will not watch it.
Okay.
And for them to say, oh, this is wrong, but she shouldn't have, that irritates
Struck a
me.
nerve?
Yeah, it really does.
Okay.
It really does. And that's what I keep seeing, that whole dialogue with, this is wrong, but
Okay.
Justification.
right.
I know you watched it.
I did.
I know you did.
The thing that I noticed, beyond the obvious,
Okay.
beyond the pulling out and the throwing down and all of that, what stood out for me was two things.
One.
Number one, the teacher was a male, and
Okay.
he stood there and observed the entire process.
He got out of the way.
Number one. The
Yes.
second thing is that we, as a culture, are more interested in videotaping
Then
for
it's-
others to see, versus assisting in any way, shape, or form to prevent, to help the situation.
And I'll point out a third thing that I noticed. In addition to those two, I noticed how little reaction, other than video recording, from the other students and the instructor. It led me to assume that perhaps this isn't the first, second, third, or fourth time they've witnessed this, because they were not surprised. Some were even moving aside as if they knew what was coming. So they are in a culture where this had already been going on.
We are in a culture that we have become numb to police brutality in any way, shape, or form.
Okay.
In addition to, and I'm going to get Yarima, I know you got some things to say about this, but the fact that reality television and everything else have gotten us conditioned to find conflict entertaining. And so versus doing something about it, this is not an issue. This is, oh my God, I'm live on.
Interesting.
Yeah, my video
I
got
get to
posted to 10 TV.
Exactly.
Did you see my video on 10 TV? Not did you see what happened in class and what we're going to do about it. My video's been posted.
So we've been conditioned.
King?
Well, there's so many things that are wrong with this. First of all, the quite frankly, the Negroes that responded, and I call them Negroes, still with Willie Lynch in them, that responded, saying that the officer, he was right.
Yes.
She should have obeyed and respected. First of all, I keep hearing this thing about we need to respect authority. I grew up, respect is earned, it's not just given.
Yes.
The police have never been friendly to the black community. I don't know any community, especially poor black community, where the police have ever been friendly with us. They've always been an occupying force. We
Okay.
need to clarify that. Now,
Yes.
the video itself, I didn't need to see what happened before. I didn't need to see who had conversations with who. I didn't need to see that maybe the principal came in and tried to get her to move. I saw a young African American queen getting manhandled by a big. Granted, this guy was the football coach too for the school. So I saw him. I saw her getting manhandled, thrown across a room.
Literally thrown.
if that's my daughter, I'm going to see him. And there's nothing you can do to stop me from that.
And that's what bothers
but-
me about
and-
those people's comments.
Exactly.
What if that was your child?
Yeah. But
Let's say that
You
she
sat
ended
there, and then that's another thing that bothers me too. What if it was your child? And
Oh,
you would tell
would you
him,
tell her?
but you shouldn't have. You should have got up. What? Because there are parents that would tell kids that.
Yes, there was a queen. She posted a very profound statement. She said, all of you saying that this young lady should have listened, she should have obeyed. Well, I attribute that to the comparison of back in the day after your daughter's been tied up to the tree and whipped.
Exactly.
You nursing her back to health, putting medicine on her wounds. Oh Jesus, oh Jesus. Well, I told you about sassing him.
My mind always goes there when I see things like that.
I was like,
But let's
I
not
don't
forget,
care.
she ended up with a broken arm, bruised ribs, several facial abrasions as a result of all of this.
Yes.
On Friday, they had a demonstration of the students. The majority of the students that walked out of class in opposition to the officer being fired were African Americans. Explain that to me.
Conditioning.
well,
Isn't that our word for the day?
How's Negro?
Conditioning.
How's Negro?
Conditioning.
Okay.
Well, it goes back to, and this was the other thing that I tend to find some of this in response to. There was one student that did
Yes.
get up and protest. She got arrested too.
Yes.
So that the culture is saying if you stand up, and they're building this, and trust me, he didn't see that girl as his daughter. She was black.
No.
He didn't see that girl as his
Not hardly.
daughter. But on a wider scale, and what white America needs to understand is that they're building a culture that's not only just going to touch us, it's eventually going to touch you to where the point where if you stand in protest of anything, free country, if you stand in protest, you're going to either be arrested, ostracized, or something negative is going to happen because
Absolutely.
we're starting to live in a fascist society. But even more so, what I found, and it kind of went back to our talk early on interracial relationships. The sheriff tried to justify and say, well, this wasn't racist because he's been in a long-standing relationship with an African American female. Okay, white America. That when we hear those statements, as a conscious black man, when I hear that, I automatically recognize you're demonstrating and exuding your white supremacist or white skin privilege, because you can't define what's racist and what's not unless you've ever lived in black skin in this country.
Yes.
Because you can't feel my pain. Secondly, I find it funny that the sheriff would say that anytime a white man drops seed into a black woman, notice he's not married her.
No.
He's been in a long-standing relationship, Olivia Pope. But when a black
we
man,
just got on top of it.
when a black man drops seed into a black woman, he's not racist. Well, then that would make every slave owner who's ever owned slaves 200 years ago not racist. Because they were constantly dropping seed in black women. So that type of nonsense needs to be addressed, needs to be exposed for what it is.
Let me add the twist to that.
Yeah.
Because it just came to me when you were saying that. Do you believe because he reacted with such aggression, regardless, like Yurima, I didn't hear the conversation prior to. I don't know what she said, how she said it, any of those things. But the extent to which he reacted, to me, it's like someone presses a trigger within you. And so this long-term relationship, did you take out all of the frustrations that you aren't able to exude in your relationship upon this young lady who represented this woman that has pissed you off year after year after year after year? You can't tell your significant other, bitch, you black bitch, get out of my face. But when this young child that you have no emotional connection to, exudes those same qualities, now you push the trigger. And now everything that I felt towards this woman who I supposedly love is being demonstrated on you.
Well, and all of that plays a part into it, but even more so, I'm not going to be surprised when he gets his job back.
Right.
If not that one, at least another one similar, but probably with the preference.
exactly, because they will wait for this to blow over.
Of course.
They will wait for this to blow over, and then all of a sudden his attorney's filing a lawsuit. He's taking it to court. Why did he lose his job? He'll get his job back. And he will, and there was a brother that got on. As a matter of fact, I posted the video. Brother that got on saying, hey, I had an, and the brother was on CNN too, said, hey, I had an incident with this same dude 10 years prior.
Yes.
Please, if somebody knows this black queen, let her get in contact with me. Now, the thing about this, the young lady is she's in foster care. She had lost her mother, her grandmother, was recently in foster care. So a white female, oh, she needs therapy. We got to get her counseling.
Yes.
I mean, she was going through all this stressful stuff in her life. Black female gets thrown across the floor like a rag doll.
Because the white woman is considered an isolated incident, and the black woman is considered the norm.
Yeah.
That's how they act. Now, I have another question in here, and I'm going to pose it to Real Talk Tiff. When it comes to the woman themselves and this young girl, what is that situation showing her, if anything, about we have a room full of students? We're going to assume that they're equally male and female, equally black and white, and a male teacher. Okay. And the only one who comes to her defense is her female friend. How does that relate to me trusted in my king, my brother, my protector?
Now I'm gonna just say, first, it's going to depend on her.
Okay.
Who she is and what she's experienced up to that point. She can take a couple paths. One, she can recognize that the atmosphere, the culture at that school was one of, I'm not gonna say plantation. I'm not gonna call it a plantation.
I'll say it, but go ahead.
But I'm gonna definitely say oppression.
Okay.
It is an oppressed atmosphere. And perhaps it was a matter of self-preservation.
Okay.
That depends on her maturity. Or she can look and say, y'all ain't shit, ain't been shit, ain't never gonna be shit. Because that is the typical black woman mentality towards our men anyway. That's what we've experienced. That's what we project. But it's gonna come down to her. Now, if she has a village, they can help her to see different perspectives in that situation. But at the end of the day, it depends on what she's been through. We know typically it's going to go in the direction of y'all ain't shit, y'all ain't never been shit, y'all ain't never gonna be shit. Y'all let this dude throw me around the room, and y'all didn't do nothing but pull out your phones.
And then it might even affect her self-value.
Absolutely.
Herself.
It's going to.
She'll have a wife next year.
So, Urema, as a king, let's say you have, and you can pick the relation to this young lady, father, uncle, brother, friend, however you want to characterize it. What do you say to intervene in a situation like this that will let her know that the situation itself is wrong, keep the respect for the brother, and also build her up as a woman?
That's a good question.
Are you saying during the situation itself, as
During,
it's going?
after, well,
Let's
it's
say
already
aftermath.
happened after.
Well,
Because you weren't there. We know how you would have reacted if you were there, but you weren't there. So, what do you
In
say
the
to this young
aftermath.
lady?
That's a good
And
question.
if she's watching, tell her what you need to tell her.
I think that what needs to be expressed to her is that all of us black men aren't cowards. There are some who, regardless of badge or uniform, we haven't been conditioned to believe that, oh, because he's got on a certain uniform, that he's off limits. So I say that, and I say that openly. Once you show inhumanity, your badge, your suit and tie, your Stacey Adams, they hold no relevance. I see through all of that. So I think that I want you to know that all black men are cowards, that somebody should have stood up to protect you. And unfortunately, it had to be a girlfriend. Because the young men in the classroom, and I don't want you to think that all of them are cowards, because there's been so much programming in the African American community. There's been so much mental programming that sometimes we look at people as authority figures. So when they talk about no respect for authority, the flip side is that 99.9% of the kids in that classroom had respect for authority because they let him get that off.
Yes.
So when we talk about respect, the 99.9%, they respected what he did enough to stay in their seats and not do anything and let it happen. On the flip side of that, you need to know that we don't all see it like that, and that you do have a protective force out here. You just have to align yourself with those. You do have brothers and sisters out here who are not cowards, who are willing to stand up in the face of adversity at any time, especially with our children, because you are our future, and without you there is no us, and we understand that.
So, Amal,
Yes.
my question for you. It's happened.
Okay.
We are in the aftermath.
Yes.
It is all over social media. It's on the news. We're having conversations about it.
Okay.
Ideally, in the world we would create, what should be the next step? What should be happening right now because of this incident?
Happening where? Overall, or at the school, or in the individual?
You decide.
Number one, overall, we as a people need to begin to understand that the energy behind something propels something. So if you're looking at this video and you are giving negative energy and negative comments towards what happened, you are feeding a negative energy. The energy that you feed is going to multiply. There is going to be another scenario that happens just like that, and you're going to say your same negative comments, and it's going to continue to multiply like gremlins. Period. If we then take the situation and the energy we give towards it is a positive, okay, this is how I assess the situation, these are my proposed solutions. And then we get people, because we're not solution-oriented people. We want to describe the problem, but don't propose solutions. And so we need to begin to say, this is an ideal. How can we? Who is offering to? Who is willing to mentor? Who is willing to have a conversation with? Who is willing to go into the foster homes and tell the young ladies how they should be valued?
Okay.
We need to be able to take this situation and make it into a situation where we can actually encourage, transition, and influence people to go beyond what we see to how we feel. And one of the things Urema said that I really want to get to, he said they 99.9% had a respect for authority. But as humans, how much respect do we have for the human race? Our moral compasses are off, because we have more respect for a title and a position than we do for the person and the soul. And that's an issue.
And see that's you hit exactly on my point. And when it goes back to us as black men, that instinctively we have lost that.
Yes.
I cannot sit back. It's an instinct. It's an instinct in every man that if you see a friend, a family member being abused, you automatically react. It's not pulling out your phone, taking a picture.
No.
How can you pull out your phone and you see your daughter being slaughtered? It's instinctive that you get involved. Whether it's you don't even have to think about it. You just do it.
Yes.
That's my friend. That's my partner. That's my relative.
Come with me.
And we've lost. And we've lost that.
Yes.
That's what we've lost. They've taken that from us, and so we just get slaughtered unmercilessly.
And additionally, I don't want to take away from her friend that stood up for her.
Yes.
Too many people within our own and outside of us claim that we sisters don't know how to hold each other down. They swear that we are at each other's throats, trying to take each other men in competition for the better shoes, nice purse. Let it be known, we sisters hold each other down, because when it came down to it, it was her sister who stood up for her and got arrested with her. Because that's how we do. That's how we real women hold it down.
Yes.
Don't get it twisted. Yeah, we got our men. We appreciate our men. We lift our men up. But you know what? We gonna hold it down too. Don't sleep on the sisters. We got that.
Yes.
And that's real talk.
Peace.